Today on WonderWorks, I have the absolute honor of welcoming someone very close to my heart, a dear sister, client, and radiant mother I had the privilege of supporting through the sacred journey of birth just 4 months ago. Alicia Rebecca is a visionary woman, a mystic, and a soul-led entrepreneur who has walked many worlds, from leading projects in global tech and innovation companies across Colorado, Hong Kong, and Europe, to now guiding mothers and creators through transformational spaces that blend mysticism, embodiment, and purpose. She is the founder of Temple of Her and the Millionaire Mother Architect, powerful spaces where she helps women return to their essence, reclaim their voice, and build lives and businesses that are deeply nourishing and aligned with their soul. Her story is one of courage, rebirth, and remembering. I'm so excited to dive into this conversation with her today. Welcome, Alicia. Hi, Alicia. I'm so happy to have you here. We just came back, more or less, both of us, from the States, but not that long ago, we met for the first time. And while we had like a short lifespan together, very intense things happened during this time. And I'm so proud that a girl from the States sits here with me on the sofa. And when I read I think the first contact or the first sign of your existence in my life was a WhatsApp message on the phone, where I didn't really got it like from the first moment, because it was a message in English with, I think, Slovenian number, wanting to have kind of support from me. And I could not combine everything, how it goes. And I know that at that time, when you contacted me, I was very busy. It was just like a weekend full of, I think I had a like prenatal course. So I was like really booked the whole weekend. And these ladies and stuff like sending me messages. And I was just like, lady, if you would know that I don't have like just right air to breathe, I'm going to contact you. And it was a weekend. And I thought, okay, we are going to do it like, and you didn't take it personally that I was just not available at the moment and giving you all the answers you wanted from me. So it just continued, contacted me. And I thought, okay, now I have to go in contact with you and to just discover what's the issue you're carrying inside your heart. And that's how our time together then started. So, and what was then, I would like to hear it from your perspective. You were like at that time in a very special part in your life, highly pregnant. And what was the story, or what were the thoughts you had that it contacted me?
Yeah, so I was just like, I needed somebody who was going to help me. Like, I knew that what was happening, like I was 3 months until I was giving birth. And I was like, I need to find the right person, because the first birth I had, I got a midwife, but it didn't end up quite right. And like, we didn't collaborate. Like, we didn't mesh together, and we didn't speak the same languages. And so I was like, I need to find my person. Like, I need to find my person so that I can do this at home, because I got notified 3 months before birth that the laws in Slovenia changed and that now I'll no longer be able to take my placenta home and all of these regulations, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, oh my gosh, I just want to have a relaxed, free birth, do what I want with what I want and live my life. And so my best friend, I told her, I was like, oh my God, you can't believe it. They changed the law in Slovenia. She's like, okay, I'm going to find somebody. And she went searching the internet and she found you and she sent me your contact. And I like opened up and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing lady. Like, I was thinking, like, she said you're from Slovenia. So I was like, perfect. Like, so then you can speak Slovenian, like, to our family. And then like Austria, I love Austria, and I learned German. So I was like, this is like amazing. I saw that you are kind of like artsy and like into the details, into beauty and all of this. Like, I could just feel your heart from your site and everything. It felt good. So then I contacted you and I didn't get any response, nothing. And I was like, okay, the universe is good. It's going to happen. So I was like, I'm going to do it again. Okay, she's busy. But that's okay, because she's my girl. Like, she's my woman. I know that this is it. So then eventually you messaged me back and I was like, thank God. And you were like, okay, you can come see me this week during my lunch break. I'm like, great, I'll be there Wednesday. It was like Saturday. We first talked, I first messaged you, you messaged me back, and I was there on Wednesday. And I was like, okay, yes, come on, like, let's meet, because I know if you have time, that it was going to be like an amazing fit together. So yeah, I was like, I met you, and like, just your presence, your like multidimensionality, not just in the like in the analytics of the birth, but also in the spirit, also in the physical and in the emotional and all of this stuff. And I was like, oh my God, she's my lady. Like, so yeah.
Perfect. And what I think I never shared it with you. For me, taking you was really a great decision, and it healed something in me, because normally I always, when women contact me, I support and accompany them for months. Like, we start at least in the week 18. So, because these, in my opinion, the greatest security I have for a birth at home is that I know, that I feel and know the lady, that I know what happened in her life, that I get in touch with her body, that I have, the examinations, that I get like a feeling for her, and that I go in contact. This is for me like the greatest security I have. So I had a few experiences in my career when I didn't have this, and the things didn't go as I would like them to go. And when you contacted me, it was just like, okay, we have like more or less 2 months to go. And I just have to feel you. I can't tell you this on the phone. I just have to see you. I have to feel you. Because I think it was like 2 months before, a lady from Croatia contacted me. And she was like really more at the end of the pregnancy. And this whole experience with her was like totally weird. Okay, it was just like, and after that, I said to myself, Zala, when are you gonna learn? When are you gonna learn to what you commit? Because how important it is to feel the people. Because if you don't, of course, in the hospital, my colleagues, and this is really very important to understand how difficult it is, that they never know who is going to come through the door, who are going to have to support, and they don't mostly know anything about the lady which is going to come to deliver the baby. So it is a very artistic to have this feeling for the person. And this is so, but they, of course, you can always give birth, it's not, but the question is, do you want to give birth, or do you want to have an experience which is going to be beneficial in your life, and which is going to accompany you, like this is definitely an experience which is going to like change your life in any way. And then I thought, Zala, and she's sitting here in front of you, but it's going to be like 2 months more, and you don't even know her. And when I felt you, and this was just like, after that, I thought, okay, because I always want to know the motivation, okay? Because the motivation of doing a birth outside the hospital, can be from very different perspectives, and it should never be against something or against hospital, but for something. Mm-hmm. It makes like a totally different shift or a totally different approach to it. And when I had like in my system, it was just like, Zala, when are you going to learn not to do things you commit to? Or can you transform the experiences you had and not let them rule your nervous system? And I thought, okay, I'm going to do it with this one. It suited in my, it was just like a kind of a gap in my calendar that I knew, okay, I can manage it. I knew that March is going to be like insane and April is going to be insane, but at the end, it was end of January, the beginning of February. Yeah. So I saw, okay, like from the amount of ladies I have, we can manage this. And then I thought, okay, if she is really committed to go her way, because to come from Slovenia, also coming from the States, living in Slovenia, wanting to give birth in Austria, it's a very extravagant, and it's not the easiest one on the administrative level. You have to check lots of things and having all your forms together that this is possible. So you can only do it if you really commit to it. And then I thought, okay, when she's going to commit to all these things, then she really means it. That it's not just a thought she's having, or it would be fancy to give birth at home, but then she commits for the way. And when I've seen you then organizing everything, and then at the end, checking, the place, because this was just like, okay, this is the last one, which is like, was missing. And then I knew, okay, this is going to be okay. And this is going to be like the most beautiful journey we are going to have together. And when I think of birth then, how it started, in my opinion, when I just shared with you before we started like this podcast, what happened to me in the States with this energy, do you really want to go your way? Do you really want abundance? And you really have to decide it. I see this moment in your birth too, because you had like the water broke. So we have then an amount of time we can wait at home before. So the birth has to start. Otherwise, after 24 hours or something like that, we have to go to the hospital because you need like some antibiotics to prevent any infections of the baby in your body. So water broke and no rushes. Or a rushes that definitely can, a force which is not strong enough to give birth to a child. And I was just like, okay, I can do my stuff. I can make some things to induce it a little bit. But at the end, your body has to decide to go into it in this way. And I did some stuff, and then I thought, okay, it has to start. I'm not going to sit there and wait because I would take too much energy on myself. So you have to be with yourself and with your partner, Bostian. And at the end, and this is not conscious, you have to make a decision. Yes, let's do it. Although before every birth, because this is a huge, there is a kind of a question mark. Woof, I'm ready for it. Can I really commit to this so insane, strong energy of birth? And then I thought, okay, your system has to decide. I have no, I have nothing more I can add to it. And I thought, what I'm going to do, I go to sauna and then I relax and let it go. And then let's see what's going to happen. And when I came back, what happened in that time? How would you describe it? What happened all these hours when you knew you have a bit of a pressure that you have to go into the birth? And I would really be, because I think we never talked about it like that then. What was going on inside your head and your heart at that time?
Yeah, I think you really made the perfect space for me to go through this kind of with myself. But at first, when you went to the sauna, I was just like, okay, wow, I'm here on holiday in Austria at the biological farm. This is great. The sun's shining. Like, what more could I ask for? And Bushian's going to go get food because we ended up here on a Sunday and all the stores are closed. So he's driving back to Slovenia. I have this place to myself. How nice. Like, just looking at the magazines. So I was really relaxed. But then when it kept getting later and later, and then I was thinking, okay, and then you were like, okay, I'm coming to see you. And I was like, uh-oh, because I was thinking like, I'm just I'm relaxed, and it doesn't seem like I'm having a baby anytime soon, besides the fact that I stand up every once in a while and it's like water's running down my legs. But so I was just like, okay, I started to get worried, and you came back and then you were like, okay, well, what can I do? Like we did acupuncture and all kinds of like nice stuff. It was like you were rubbing my belly. It was like felt like a goddess in this like old Austrian bed. And then you were just like, well, now you have to like give birth soon in the next hour. So by the time we wake up in the morning, yes. And if not, then you'll have to go to the hospital. And then I was like, holy shit. I was like, what's going on here? I was just thinking inside, I was like, what am I going to do? I need to do something, because I'm like, what am I going to drive back to Slovenia? Go all the way to Jesenice? And I was like, okay, if I have to, then I will. And I'll pack up all my stuff and go back. And then I was thinking, like, would I go to Klagenfurt? And I was thinking, I don't really feel that cozy there. And then I was just thinking, look, what is this telling me? What do I need to learn? Because I felt like I was like, I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to do it like this, no matter what. And that's how I did a lot of things in life. And it doesn't always work out the best. Sometimes you do it, but it's so much pressure that I put on myself and force. But then I was just like, okay, what if I just say, Iris, how do you want to be born? How do you want to be born? Do you want to be born here? Do you want to be born in the hospital? Like, if you really want to be born in the hospital, I was walking around, like I couldn't walk that far, but I just walked literally around the house. And I was just saying to her, like, if you want to be born in the hospital, okay. But if you want to be born here, okay, whatever it is, I'm here for it. And then we went back and you went downstairs to work on some stuff. And I went to bed and I was just like, oh man, like this is not what I wanted to happen. The second time trying this and going to the hospital, like, because the first time I had a natural birth in the hospital, but this time I wanted to do it at home and you like really be in my full energy. And so then I was just like, okay, I surrender. Whatever it happens, I'm here for it. And I went to sleep.
I think what you surrender and being in rupture at the same time. In rupture of all the thoughts and everything what you build up, how it should be. And to be like ruptured and surrender to everything, what is going to happen. This was, I think, needed, and to letting go everything. Because for me, the birth is like surrender and let go of everything what we think we are, what we built in our world and how we approach to it, because the force of the birth, it's going to wash everything away. So when you are ready to surrender so deep and go into a deep rupture, which sometimes always can feel like death, because something you build up in your life is dying, because after that you're not the same anymore. It doesn't matter where it happens, how it happens. It's just like one of the biggest transitions and shifts in life. Then I think something greater can work on it and can support you.
Yeah.
But as long as we try to have this control in our brains, it just does not work that good. It's just like being aware of it and surrender to it and let it go to something greater and not lose the trust. I think this is the moment it's needed for the birth, but these are the moments we have so many times in our lives. And like the algorithm and the pattern is always the same. The process is always the same. So you went then to bed. I worked downstairs. I was so cold, and the guy we stayed at his farm, he was so nice. He cooked me a tea and he gave me like a hot water bottle. Is it called like that? And I was just like sitting in the kitchen working on my stuff, and I thought, okay, now I'm going to go to bed because I don't want to travel during the night when you're going to give me the call, and I just have to come in the morning, but let's see what's going to happen. And when I went to bed, I didn't really realize, in the other room, I didn't realize that you're already starting having some rushes. You didn't fall asleep then? It just started then? Or how was it?
Yeah, I slept for a few hours, then it started happening, and then I would wake up, and then I would go through the rushes, and then I would go back to sleep. And then it was getting so intense that I couldn't sleep. And then it was getting so uncomfortable and intense that I couldn't even be near the bed. I just wanted to be standing, like moving. And then like I was worried like what Bushjan is going to do, because I didn't want him to worry or anything, but he actually just sat on the couch. And I was like, great, just go over there, let me do whatever I'm doing. And so then it kept getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And then I was thinking to tell him, you better go wake up Zala. And then I couldn't tell him, like, I didn't want to talk. Like, I wasn't all the way here anymore. I was focused, and I was so focused on giving birth, like on just the rushes. It was like so much strength inside me. It like came, and it was like, I never knew this, but there's this thing called the reflex, the ejection reflex, which I had no idea about until I started watching these YouTube videos. And I may or may not would have happened, but I could just feel it. Like this energy kept running down, and it kept pushing so forcefully down. And I was thinking, oh my God, he better go and get Zala. And then finally he got up and he left, and I was like, good. And then he went and knocked on your door, and you came in, and I was like fully in my like zone, in my place, I was like, it was so strong, and you held such a beautiful space for me, because sometimes it would get so strong that I would lose control. Like, not control, but I would lose the rhythm. I guess it was like a rhythm of like, it was like a rhythm of like bliss and ecstasy, but then like pain, and like so much pain, and then like pleasure, joy, and then pain. And like, you helped me to really keep that like steady. And yeah, that was like incredible. Really, that was so incredible.
When Bastian woke me up, for me it was just like, I hoped, I prayed before I closed my eyes. Please, just let it happen. It just can be more perfect. There are people coming from Slovenia, setting here everything, being in their queendom, because I felt you like a queen in this like old Austrian, furniture, and then I thought, okay, please just let it happen, and so it shall be. And when he woke me up, he was like, yes, thank you, and seeing you then, how you I'm gonna really use like beautiful language, how you serve this energy and being in your rhythm. I felt you in your space and being in the rhythm, and I knew of course before that I held the space from the beginning, from the first time when we met. I know that, but just witnessing you and being a part of your journey and surrender to it, and seeing Bostian beside you, like really staying in his space, and we are just here to witness you and don't want to bother you, and how this energy was able to transform through your body. It was just like, it was insane beautiful. And I was just like, here, okay, thank you just again that I can be a part of this such beautiful journey you are on. Although I know it's always intense, and it's always like a game between like rupture and death and joy and ecstasy. And it always it reaches like, it's like dancing in between both of them. When the rupture comes, and then the ecstasy, and then the rupture again, and then the death, and like riding these waves and going deeper and deeper, until the point when you then know, okay, it's gonna be like even more intense and more intense. And I think you played some music, isn't it? You have a list. And I was just like listening to this music and seeing you that, even the dance with the music you had, and the candle like being on the other cupboard, I think. And then I thought, okay, this is just like proceeding so fast now that if I want the other colleague to join me, like at the end, I have to call her, because otherwise, I had like this feeling the waves are just like growing bigger and bigger. So I think it's not going to last that long that the baby is going to be born. How did you then experience this extravagance of the strength, which was like riding through you? How would you describe it?
Yeah, it was so intense, so intensely good. And then it was like intensely painful. And it was like, I felt like waves, literally. It was like waves washing over, and it was like everything was good. Like, when you relax when the wave comes, and then it's not so bad. But when you fight it, then it gets, rough. And in the moments that I fought it, because it was so much pain and so much intensity, you would help me smooth the wave back out and like let go of my tension of holding on so hard to hold on. And then I just like imagined myself in the ocean, really, like riding these waves with you there. And then like she was coming so fast. It was pushing so hard that my throat was hurting. And you were like, you have to go on the bed or whatever, because she's coming so fast. Like, and you were like, get up there. And I was like, get up there, like walk. Like it felt like to me, like I had a head coming out between my legs. I was like, what do you mean get up? And then like pushed you on, and you helped me to get there. And I was just thinking like, oh my gosh, because I thought I was like, I kept thinking like I'm at maximum capacity. It couldn't get any more. It couldn't get any more. And it kept getting more. And like you held the space so nice, really. Like I felt so comfortable being in me and in the birth and in going through all of these things that came up through me to hold on to. And then I would just like, okay, let go. And then she was here, and I was like, she was coming out so fast. I think you were holding her from coming out all the way.
It was like, just like,
she would just like blast out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was amazing. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you very much. How you went into it and described what happened inside of yourself while being in this like strong transition of birth. Because I'm always happy if women put it in words, because sometimes we have the feeling that this is experience we just can't put in words, and definitely it's not that easy. But if you find them, it's just like so beautiful for me as a midwife. I think also for everybody listening to us. And because I know that your previous life before you became mother and made like this transition, you were into extreme sports. So how would you translate this experience you had during the birth into your sports life or experiences you had like in your sports world?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't have been able to make it through childbirth without sports. So like, I think everything happens for a reason. And like all my life, I was forcing myself out of my comfort zone. And I don't think I did it really at the beginning with joy or because I wanted to. I did it because I knew that I needed to do something better, something more, something different than the rest of my family. I knew that a lot of things were going to happen and I needed to be strong. So I took up things that scared me. I always did stuff that scared me, like, okay, I'm scared of falling from high places, so I went skydiving. I was scared of talking in front of people, so I became a yoga teacher, even though I was in a tech background of managing people. And I was scared of biking, and I became an amazing biker, also with climbing and with mountain biking. So I ended up mountain biking so much, it just became like my medicine to get over my fears. All of these things, I got over my fears. And then I actually won first place for women's season in Austria when I lived in Graz. So I was like, if I can do these things, there's nothing that I can't do. So when I came to childbirth, like, I was like, I want to do it different than my mom did it, than other people did it. And my mom, she had C-sections for every single kid. She had so much that she held inside, and so many fears that she held inside. And our family held so many fears and so many anxieties and all this stuff inside. And so I used sports and I used all these things to let it out and so that there was no excuse. I had no fear left. So that's why I was like, I'm gonna do birth at home. There's no other way.
Okay. But let's go on the point in your life when you realized what is your ancestral history? Where do you come from? What was before you? And what would you like to create out of where you come from? And how would you like then approach the life? And how came it then that you landed from the States in Europe, in Graz, and at the end in Slovenia? And how did you find the way of dealing with everything, what you just explained me, on your way, through life? And was it always in your head that you would like to transform it? That there is more than just living a life on this planet, that you would like to relieve yourself from what was before you and take the benefits, and you want to be conscious how you created and what you what you now, when you're a mother, give to your children?
That's a big question. It's not like I intentionally wanted to transform it, but I wanted to get rid of the shit in my mind and in my body that I knew that wasn't really mine.
What age were you?
When it happened several times. So like whenever I was like 12, then whenever I was like 18, then whenever I was like 22, I remember different sections where like literally like a week I would wake up and I would be like, where did I even get the idea that I would be afraid that that somebody would die or something could happen, like because they're late or some crazy stuff, like just strange thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, how could I get that? And I also had these feelings at my first birth. It was so intense, not only from the intensity, that the emotions after I gave birth, I had the feeling that I had to be worried about my child being sexually abused all the time. I had this feeling inside me and I was like, how is that possible? I know it's not mine. I know it's not it's like in my cells, but it's not in me. So I just kept thinking like, how can I get this stuff? It's like shoveling it out. I wanted to not only do it for like for my kids, for myself, but just to have peace in my body, the peace in my mind. It's why I traveled so many places, and because I was always seeking this truth inside myself. Who am I? What is this? Why are we here? How can I just not even do better for anyone, but how can I feel better? How can I, so much of my younger life, I couldn't even dance because I felt like so cut off from life, from my body. And I thought like sports brought me more into my body, having birth, dancing,
So
these
feeling
things.
the intensity of a force in your body made you to feel more embodied.
Yeah, it made me feel just like all of these things and they would go away cellularly after I kept feeling them. But every time I would close the door and shut off and say that's too much, it would come harder, 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 just like in the birth. Just like whenever I had Tara, I had this emotions all the time. It was like obsessive that I was worried that if somebody changed her diaper, that something could happen to her. And I was thinking, holy crap, like my mom's mom, whose mom, 14 years of generation can be held in our cells of trauma. I was thinking, whatever this is, I don't want it. And it's not good to pass it. So I'm going to feel it. And I felt it. And I told Bruce and I told people and they thought, oh my God, you're like really weird. How could you even think that? I'm like, I just have to let it out. Like I have to let it out. And slowly it went away. And I was fearful that after this birth, that I would have those emotions trapped, that I would resurface, but they didn't. Actually, I have new ones. So it's like always like peeling back the layer. You know, every child you get like a new lesson, a new way of becoming, also with athletics and with every chapter of life. And it's helped me to heal it continually, never stops to help me heal myself, become more at peace, more at love, because I love this tattoo, Vessel of Love, because I think really we're here just to expand in love. In like, we're in this love matrix. People want to say like the fear matrix, but that we can love ourselves more in accepting you and accepting them and everyone and the pains that we have inside, instead of saying, no, I can't hear it, I can't see it. It's like about allowing it and loving it.
You needed it.
I needed it.
You needed it a lot. Because when you gave birth to Tara, it was intense. But there came a birth after the birth. Would you like to share this with us?
Yeah, it's like every one of the birth has changed me completely. It's like sometimes I wake up as a mom and I don't know who I am anymore. And it's like every day this happens to some level, and it's like I feel more far from myself, but I feel more closer than I've ever been at the same time, because I'm shedding so many of the things that I'm not, that I'm more me. But in this moment, I feel like a lost for the past, but that's not me anymore. Like that person isn't me now. So who am I now? And how do I show up as her? And that's something that I have to ask myself every day.
But let's go back to this month after the birth, Tara's birth, where you had like, lots of women have like some breastfeeding issues. And we know it can last a little bit. Till everything is just like attuned and everybody feels comfortable. But like these breastfeeding issues didn't really change a lot. And these issues led you to a totally new, so through this, you opened like a totally new story of your life, because then you discovered something very special.
Yeah, okay. So I guess I had such a good birth this time. I need to think about the other birth with Tara was so intense. I was like, I'm dying dead, like depressed. I was so depressed that I could barely find the strength to live, actually. Just thinking like, I gotta feed her. I gotta take care of me. This is maybe how my mom felt. I was thinking like, is this my feelings? I felt broken to have a child with Down syndrome. I felt, would I be accepted
Just
to
stop
have
here
a
now.
child?
Because not just you say, because it's a part of your life. You already know that.
Yeah.
You have a child, Tara, but you didn't know before. So I would like you to take us on this journey. How is it when you don't know that you have a very special child and you have just breastfeeding issues, and all of a sudden then you realize there's something totally different in her. It's a part of your life, but just that you don't feel it like special anymore. But being in this situation and deal with it, it's huge. And you dealt it, and you experience it, and you integrate it into your life. And for you, it's normal. But I think if you would share this to people, lots of them would think, holy shit, wow, this is really huge. And we think that everything is predictable and everything is under control. And sometimes, perhaps we don't even know how small we are. And that we are like in the much greater game of life. So these breastfeeding issues, I'm going back to, and then discovered that,
Oh yeah, there were so many like issues, but then I realized the gift and it all, like, this is a completely different human. Totally different. Like, she has a completely different DNA. She's, in a way, I think more advanced. And I was like, wow, I got this opportunity. I shifted it from the other perspective. I was thinking, I was comparing myself to these kids. This, how it's supposed to be, breastfeeding, eating this, doing this, walking this. And I was thinking, wow, I have a gift. This like lighthouse that's now a part of my life that brings light into me and shows me my darkness and shows me my judgments and shows me all of these aspects of myself that I could not accept before birth. And she's like this super unicorn child.
have you ever thought at that time then how you would have dealt with it if you would know that Tara has Down syndrome?
Yeah, I was worried. Some part of me told me never to check her, not to check like
During the
her
pregnancy.
development. It was like, okay, so I got a 3D ultrasound or one that's like really like kitschy in America, like just get this beautiful like rendering of your child inside you. But I didn't go for like the checkups for her because I only went to 2 and they weren't sure like how the measurements were, but I was convinced that somehow I needed to protect her by not getting them. Comes to find out, I was protecting myself because if somebody would have told me you're going to have a kid with Down syndrome, they might have said, oh, you maybe should get an abortion or maybe you should think about something else. And maybe I would have. Maybe they would have said they're like this and they can't do this. And I thought, like, I won't get this information. I just know she's super amazing and special. So when she came and in 3 months after she was born, I was like, something wasn't clicking like regular, but something was expanding my mind. Her presence was expanding my mind. The way she saw the world and felt the world was totally different. And she has helped like mold and shape my life so so much, like changed my life forever, just based on her perspective of the world. And I had to spend time literally teaching her something like putting something into a box. Like she couldn't understand the concept. And it was like breaking my mind to think in this way, but it was actually breaking my mind in a way to create like an openness. I was seeing through such a small hole in the door, like, and whenever she came into my life, going through this process, it made my window really big of seeing more of myself.
Would you say that Tara deconstructed the picture, or you had about the world and your existence in this world and everything what you built up in your life about you, yourself and the world, and how you approach it? Would you say that to spending the life with her, it's like the deepest deconstruction and therapy and transition, and I don't know how you would even describe it.
Yeah, like the deepest medicine. Really like medicine, like life-changing. People go to ayahuasca ceremonies and all of this stuff. It was like so intense and it never ended. And so I kept having to break this part of me, break it until I could let it go, until I could literally be like, okay, I accept. I didn't accept it. I didn't accept that she had Down syndrome. I didn't accept it at first. I wanted to heal her. I wanted to fix her. I wanted to fix me. I wanted to fix the world. And I realized that there was nothing broken. There was nothing that needed to be fixed. It was my perspective, my mind that needed to change.
This touches me a lot because it's almost the same thing we talked before. It's just like the same energy, the same pattern, the same algorithm as when you talked what happened inside of you, lying in this queendom bed and not having crushes and knowing that it's going to be time to open yourself to get them, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. And we're facing this moment over and over and over again in life. And so, like, literally, my practice is these like mantras that I breathe breathe in and breathe out, and I just let it be. Let it be, me be, they be, all be, and embrace it, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing that that's like probably for my highest good, and I can't even fathom what that is, and just surrendering to that opportunity to deepen.
So when you just share that, all of what happened in your life, it was definitely not the concept you carried in your brain and in your heart for you. And on the other hand, you say that everything what happened to you was just like the greatest medicine you could get to find the way back to who you are. How was it then just recently taking your version of yourself and your family and flying back home to the States, to your family, to your roots with a new version of yourself?
Yeah, it brings up so many emotions, like good and like, I was really hesitant to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost tried to make excuses of why I wouldn't go when the flight was coming up, because I had fears to see my family, to show him my country, whether he would accept it or not like it or experience how he experiences it. And all of these things were in my head, and I was thinking how I could maybe we just don't go. And it was crazy because we couldn't get a passport for Iris before we left, and we had to literally drive to Croatia the day before our flight to get an emergency passport because they didn't get it in time. And so I was like, there's so many excuses that wouldn't make me wrong to not go right now. And I thought, this is what I need to do. I need to go here. It's like actually going to be something. So we went, and it was like so much rapture. It's like you get this raw material from the universe. I used to think that you create it, all of it. You can have your desires, your intentions, but it's like we get this raw material and we decide what we do with it. And so when we got to the US, it was fun. We met my family. It was amazing. The first few days were incredible. Then we had like crisis in the family with my partner, with the kids, how we do this, how we're going to eat this, where we're going to stay, the cost differences between Slovenia and US for all this stuff. And so it was like literally on the trip, we were like, we broke up. We're like, we're done. We're done. And then literally we were like, this is ridiculous. And we are all fine. Everything was fine. But we went through this same process as birth, same process. And all of this like resistance. No, we don't want this. We don't want this. We don't want to deal with it. We don't want to see it. We don't want to address it. And then we just had to lean all the way in and just like, okay, Tara was sick. She was sick for like several days. We were supposed to go on a road trip, and like she couldn't be on a road trip and be having a fever. So we got an Airbnb and stayed there, and we were just like, okay, we'll wait a little bit until she gets better and bring ourselves back together and everything. So it was beautiful, amazing for him to meet all my family, my sisters, and all of their kids and everything. So yeah, I don't know. It was a wild, amazing, beautiful experience.
Did you have some perspective then when you were there in this version of yourself you are today, to the version of yourself before you left US? So did you sometimes have like such epiphanies to see, wow? Because when you go back to your roots, how I experience it, that I always have like a perspective, wow, that's my young me sitting there. And look who I am today. And this makes me really a bit emotional, because I always, when I go back and see the places where I spent time or went to school or where I lived when I was young in Slovenia, and seeing me in this situation, and you know, like the pictures from the past, they arise in my brain, in my heart, and then I have such a deep compassion for this younger me, and also compassion for the people around me who were just not able to see me, because I was not able to see me. I was not able to address who I am, and they just tried, and I think they gave their best for what they've learned in their life. And on the way through my life, then sometimes I just judged them, because I thought, how it can be that you don't see what I need or who I am. How it can be that sometimes even today you have like an idea of myself. And then I realized, the more I get into it and the more I allow everything what comes along in my life, and the more I allow to be myself and to experience everything what is coming along my way, and the more I allow to see myself, the more the people around me can do it. And seeing it like of the perspective of a movie sometimes, it's just like nowadays I don't judge it anymore. Nowadays I feel just like a deep love and compassion for everybody, for everyone in my life. How was it for you?
So I wove this story to myself as a kid that no one cares, no one's there for me, no one's listening. I was the youngest kid. My mom passed away a few weeks after I was born. It seemed you could see a perspective where somebody could make this story to understand why they didn't get what they needed. And that's exactly what I saw. Like, I wove this story. I've been seeing it many times. Like, I wove this story because I didn't get those things. But from their perspective, they didn't see that story because they were doing what they saw and what they could do. So it's like a healing journey going back and realizing, that like I came also from a family who was very judging. And so I was like, I don't like people who judge. So I was judging. I was judging people who judge.
Yeah.
So I was judging just the same. And so it was so healing to just go home and see these stories, see my dad's stories from him in his life and his childhood, how he is, how my stories driving by my old high school and all the pains and all the amazing things and all the experiences that I felt there, but realizing that was a story that these were all these moments, these pictures that you say, it's like, these were stories that we all create stories every day. Like, we're telling ourselves, and I created these stories that were not for my benefit, but they led me here. So in a way they did. But yeah, it's like, I sometimes in my mind, I have this vision of browsers, like on a computer, and I see these old ones, and it's like these old pictures, these old stories. And I'm like, okay, I have all these tabs up in my mind, in my body, and I just like start Xing. I see that. And now I get it from where I am now, and I get it from her. But I'm done with that browser and closing it and feeling the emotions and feeling it, but being like, okay, thank you. And now I have this beautiful moment that I'm in because of all of it.
Thank you so much. Thank you at the end for coming, for sharing everything what you shared. And just recently, when I was in the US and had like a masterclass, I learned from Mama Gina that a gratitude and desire are very beautiful tools we can use every day. So I'm gonna ask you, what can you brag about? What would be your greatest brag for today?
Oh man, brag.
Just give him a brag.
What would I brag about? Actually, I have everything I wanted. Everything I wanted. It's just nothing happened the way I wanted it to. So I got everything I wanted. I always wanted to be a mom. I have amazing kids, live in an incredible place, be with nature and incredible people. I mean, I have everything.
So it's the gratitude you feel in your heart, what you're grateful for.
What am I grateful for? I don't know. Really, it's tough. It's funny because it's hard for me because I'm actually so grateful for so many things.
Then just give us a few of them.
I'm grateful for my incredible coffee that I got yesterday in Ljubljana.
Perfect. What else?
I'm grateful for spending a month with my family in the US. I wanted to do that since the day I met him, but we didn't have kids then, but now we went with all of us. And it
What's
happened.
like the deepest desire you carry inside your heart?
My next deepest desire?
You choose?
I'm ready for my G class.
Perfect.
I'm ready for my G class, yeah. It's like I make these, I have so many desires and dreams and wishes, but I don't like have a bucket list. I like normally do them all. It's almost pretty close. So let's go. I'm ready for my G-Wagon.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for coming and
Yeah.
being with us.
Thank you.
We are done.